Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to the MenoLounge. I'm Julie Gordon-White, CEO of MenoWell, Menopause High Fiber and Protein Bars. It's Tuesday. You're here. I'm here. We are talking all things Pilates, nutrition, and menopause today. I am super excited about this because Pilates has a funny conversation happening during menopause with lifting heavy, etc. So I have the most amazing registered dietitian and certified Pilates instructor, Jennifer, I want to make sure I say it, Masson. I want to say Masson, to get it right and share all the goodness with you. So Jennifer, I know you're here. I'm going to bring you up. Let's see. See ya. This is going to be good. Take notes or come back and watch the recording. Here she comes, all the way from Florida, coast to coast.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
We're matching, except for I have the West Coast kind of still cold. You have full on Florida.
Yeah, and I'm in Florida. Sorry, I'm going to adjust my little thing here. So,
That's right.
yeah, it's getting warm.
It's getting warm.
Yeah, it's around around 80 today. So
that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Jennifer, I am so excited. We have been planning this conversation and chatting back and forth, and we have so much to share. And I think it's really important because of your experience at intersection of being a registered dietitian and a certified Pilates instructor. That just brings so much to the table for women. Oh, and you're a midlife woman. So
just throw that in there. No, I'm so happy to be here with you. It's been great, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, anyway, let's go.
Super good. Let's go. All right, let's just jump in. Kind of tackling a little bit of I would say, controversial question a bit first. That, we hear lift heavy, lift heavy, lift heavy.
Yeah.
And then we hear Pilates, it's amazing, but it's not lifting heavy. Talk to us about that, and then we can talk about nutrition and how it intersects that. But just let's go right in on that little controversial conversation.
Right. I think, first of all, I think any kind of movement is good. So if you're somebody that has not done anything, Pilates is great rather than going into the gym and starting to lift heavy. I mean, you could get hurt. I know people that have gone in there and say, oh my God, I tried to do this, and they've gotten hurt, and then, they're out and they don't want to do it. It is possible to lift heavy in Pilates. It just depends on the spring tension and what you're doing. It's not the gym. It's not like you're going to be going and you're lifting the weights and you're going to do the bicep curls, but I definitely think it's beneficial. And especially depending on where that person is, in
their journey, in their fitness journey. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And so do you think Pilates is more accessible? Because quite frankly, it looks really hard to me. We have Noelle on our team, who's also a Pilates instructor, and she works really hard to get her certification. It's tough.
It's hard. It is not an easy certification. It takes a very long time. And then also there are different, there's different methods. And we're not even going to go into that because that's a whole other controversial thing. But that's a whole other thing. Yeah. But is it hard for just the general person to go and do? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, just to get started. It feels, especially with the reformer, it feels intimidating. So you're making me sit back in my seat as I think about this, because I've done floor Pilates at home with a video, probably in the 90s. I don't know. But the whole reformer thing seems a little intimidating. I would go to a gym and pick up a dumbbell in a minute. But going to Pilates class and getting on a reformer, not so much.
And actually, you probably did Mari Windsor, who was based out in California, because that was huge back in the 80s and 90s.
The 80s.
Did the whole thing. There was the infomercial and that,
I'm sure about that.
Yeah. No, it's really not. It looks intimidating, but anybody can do it. And, there are all these things out there. Oh, Pilates is for everybody, but it really is. There are the big franchises that definitely make it more accessible. And depending on what you're looking for, is the direction you should go. But I think anyone can do it. It's just something that you have to think about when you're doing, and you have to focus. A lot of people, I mean, I've taught in different settings. Some people go to a class because they want the social aspect,
Mm-hmm.
and that's good too.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really going to get any benefit out of it, though, you need to focus and you need to think about what you're doing. You need to move with intention, and you
Mm-hmm.
need to eat right.
Oh, we're going to talk about eating right.
There you go.
Before we jump that way, it really feels like you have to have that mind body, mind muscle connection in Pilates. Would you
Right.
agree with that?
Well, it's not about having to have it. That is something that it definitely helps with, the
Hmm.
mind body connection.
Hmm.
When you're there, I know for me, it was always Pilates has been my go to when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm angry, when I'm frustrated. And it's all because you just have to think about, well, you're supposed to think about every little teeny muscle movement. And it's not just from A to Z, it's as you're moving through. And so to really do that, you have to kind of zone out and just focus on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think the mind body connection comes in. Also, breath work, which is important in Pilates,
Yes.
especially. And you have to breathe with intention, right? And so when you think about mind and body, Pilates is so good for, there are clinical studies that have been done that show it helps with anxiety and stress reduction.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, breath work alone helps with resetting your nervous system. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that, you know, it's not that you have to have it, it's something that is an added benefit,
Mm.
the
I
mind
love
body
that. It's
connection.
part of
Yeah.
the gift of it. And
Mm-hmm.
because we're talking about experiencing Pilates during menopause or
Mm-hmm.
perimenopause, all the more reason we should give ourselves that focus time, that
Right.
gift of that
And I do want
connection.
to add this too, as far as
Yes.
in perimenopause and menopause, it can help with bone density. And we're talking about adding load, right? So yes, the
Mm,
spring tension,
mm,
um, you add load. And, in the 5 years post that menopause, right? You're in post menopause, that 366th day after, your last period.
right.
Um, that's when, we really have to worry about the decline of our bone density.
Yeah.
And so between doing the right kind of exercise and getting the right kinds of foods in our bodies, and then supplementation maybe, but that is something that can help as far as menopause. It helps with, you know, just general aches and pains, but flexibility and stress reduction, and uh, there's a lot, and then social aspect. So all of
Hmm.
that with the menopause, and postmenopause and perimenopause, that whole thing.
I
So
love
yeah.
it because the way you're describing the benefits of Pilates
Hmm.
really connect, they map directly to symptoms of perimenopause and
Yes,
menopause, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
So,
I know for me, I always feel better. Sometimes I'll say, oh God, I don't want to go. We all get like that. I'm
like
tired,
today,
or
leg day.
yeah, I'm
Uh,
stressed, or this or that. And I know I'm never sorry that I went.
yeah,
Never.
yeah.
And just showing up. You don't have to, you know what? The thing is, listen to your body,
Mm,
right? So if you're tired and then maybe take a rest day. But if
hmm.
you're feeling like, you go, but you don't have to do the full on 100% effort it's not, if you're not feeling it that
You're
day.
not
You
feeling
have
it
to
that day.
listen to your body,
Yeah, I
and
love
I
that.
know now for me, I've taken a lot more of those kind of days than I used to.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
recovery, I mean, you can speak to
Yeah.
recovery, is just as
Yep.
important, especially if we're building muscle or we do a
Yes.
particularly difficult
Hmm.
workout routine session. That it's the recovery
Yeah.
is where the magic happens. It actually doesn't
Yes,
happen
that
during the thing, right? Other than the good endorphins
exactly.
that we get.
That's
But
when it happens. And that's the
yeah.
other thing too, in the old days when we were young, right? Younger, who says we're not young? Um, our ability to synthesize new muscle tissue and to you know, digest and use protein, you know, in different ways. It was an internal thing. Okay.
Mm,
Hormones and everything. But as now that, you know, we're getting into that menopausal stage, we need external stimulus in
mm,
order to do that.
mm.
So getting enough protein, getting enough of the right kind of protein, and doing the right kinds of exercise in order to, you know, stimulate that.
Stimulate our muscle and bone,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
For
Yep.
growth and regeneration.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you said the P word, protein. Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about it.
Okay. Yeah.
I
That's a
say
whole.
fiber is protein's BFF, so we have to talk about protein and fiber, of
Yes.
course. But
Mm-hmm.
let's start with protein. You
Okay.
said the right protein. What did you
Mm.
mean by that?
Well, you know, there are some essential amino acids that we have to get through our diet, that we can't make. You know, we eat protein, you know, you break it down into amino acids, and you know, we use them as building blocks to make other things. So for instance, there's an amino acid called leucine in particular that is really important for new tissue growth and tissue synthesis. And it's primarily, you know, a good source is whey protein. And so I really, when I am talking with my women patients, clients, whoever they are, you know, that's one thing that I will recommend, as long as, you know, they're not averse to it, they don't have any allergies. You know, whey protein isolate is one way to get that um, adequate protein, you know, as a
Right.
supplement, as a boost, in
Yes.
addition to their diet. Yeah.
Because a lot of women still struggle to get in, and you tell me if you agree with 100 grams of protein or
No, I
so.
definitely do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
one
And
gram
sometimes more,
or
you know.
sometimes more based on what you're
Yes.
trying to achieve. I just try to at least
Yes.
get women to land on a minimum 100, like, 1
Yes.
gram per your ideal, focused
Yeah. Yeah.
body weight.
Like,
And we're trying to do not just scale weight, but, body fat percentage, but that's a whole other
right.
conversation. But right. But if we
Right.
can just get to 100 grams, but women still say, literally, I was at a big
Mm-mm.
event and for the M Factor film, and talking to women, I can't get my 100 grams of protein. And my girlfriend, okay, it's not that
Hello.
hard, but let's talk
Hello.
about that. You're the registered dietitian.
Okay. So that's where the supplementation comes in. And if you break it down, and it's not just, okay, I'm going to, you know, eat all my protein at dinner.
A
We
gigantic steak at dinner time. Yeah,
we're
no.
constantly moving. Our bodies are, you know, metabolizing all day long. We're working
Yeah.
all day long. And
Yes.
so, you know, and we don't have the ability to store protein really. That's a whole that it's a complicated thing, really. Our bodies are very complex. And so I would recommend, okay, aim for like 25, 30 grams at every meal
Hmm.
if you eat 3 meals. If not, then if you eat 2 meals, you have to go a little bit more and maybe have your snacks, and then add the supplement. And
Hmm.
especially if you're going to work out, you know, because I hear so often, oh, I haven't eaten anything. Oh, I haven't eaten anything. I can't wait to go eat before they go to the gym. And that is absolutely the wrong thing to do,
Oh,
because
I'm so
then we
glad.
get this,
Okay.
the
That's so
whole hormone.
controversial about working out fasted. And I love that I'm in the camp of you have to have some
You
fuel.
do. You don't have to have a lot. You don't have to have a full
Right.
meal, you
You don't
know.
need a stomach ache. Yeah.
No, but you need to have a little bit of protein, okay, and a little bit, maybe 15, in my opinion, okay, maybe 15 grams, and a little bit of carbohydrate, easily digestible. So, for example, yogurt. Okay, I'm
Hmm.
just throwing that out there, um, because your body needs to know that there's more coming,
Hmm.
right? So that, okay, I'm going to prep, I'm ready. And plus, it gives you energy. You know, when you're out, when you're working out and you don't have anything, it's, you can tank, you know, it's just, it's not going to,
You're just
you're
not
not going to
gonna.
have an effective workout.
Right. There's not enough performance. I really learned that. I used to be a runner. And
Mm-hmm.
if I had to really figure out my nutrition before a
Mm-hmm.
half marathon, because if
Yeah.
not, I could feel so great. But if I didn't fuel properly ahead of time and mid race, I
Yeah.
would get to, mile 9 or something and just start to like
Well,
nothing left in the tank.
but
So
Julie, it backfires because if you're not getting enough, what happens? You know what happens? You're going to turn to yourself, your own muscle tissue. And guess what? Then the muscle is the energy burning tissue.
yeah, we don't
Okay.
want that. We're trying to keep that. And
You
isn't
want
it?
and right, as we get older, I'm 54. Okay, I'm 54 years old. As we get older, we need to maintain that muscle, right? And so in order to do that, you have to get enough protein and you have to do the right kind of exercise because then if we lose muscle a certain percentage every year after a certain age, like maybe 30 years old. And in order to help slow that, okay, and it gets faster as we get older, we have to do the right kinds of things for ourselves:
Mhm.
rest, recovery, getting enough nutrition, and work from there.
Work from there.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're on the same camp on that because I think it's so
Yes.
important that the body is always trying to survive, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if it doesn't have the kind of food it needs for our muscle, it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna just eat
Yeah.
itself because muscle takes up so much energy. It's like we got to get rid of this because this is just taking too much juice for what we have.
Well,
So
and you know what else, Julie? We're talking about, we're in the perimenopause, menopause stage. So what happens, muscle tissue also helps there are two ways to get your blood sugar out of the glucose out of your blood. Okay. Which is, as we get older, we lose the ability to manage blood sugar as well.
yeah,
And so that's what happens with, you know, women all of a sudden find that they're insulin resistant, their
right.
blood sugar's going up, they're gaining weight, especially around their midsection. Okay. And so maintaining muscle helps with getting the sugar out of your blood. Okay. So there are two pathways, right? One is insulin, okay, which grabs the sugar out
Which
of your
is
blood, but
normal
also,
response,
which is
right?
normal
Insulin comes
response.
in to bring the blood sugar
Yeah,
down, right?
but also your muscle tissue, when you contract, can get the sugar out of your blood. And that's a, whole other explanation. It's more complicated, but yes. And so that helps. So that's
Yeah,
why I say, if you have any kind of insulin resistance or, um, you know, issues with blood sugar management, the best thing you can do is to move and walk or do something after you eat. It
right.
is one way that to help your body use insulin more efficiently.
I love
Yep.
that. I have been
Hmm.
known to do a few air squats after a meal also. Uh,
Listen, I used to work someplace. I used to work at a hospital, okay, and it was like sitting. I would go in the bathroom and literally do jump squats in the stall. I said, if
I
somebody
love
came in here, they would think I'm nuts, right? But yes, you have to. It was.
no, you're in the know. You
Hmm.
can't not know, right?
No,
Like, oh, there's
I
the
know.
registered dietitian jumping up and down the
Hello,
ladder.
don't look at me.
No, you should say, look at me. I'm
Mm,
trying to show you something.
yes,
So
true. Good
before
point.
we talk about fiber, being a
Hmm.
registered dietitian, that's not an easy accomplishment. What was
Hmm.
it about nutrition in the body that drew you to do the work to become an RD?
You know, growing up, I grew up in an Italian family and in New Jersey. I'm in Florida now, and the food was wonderful. And I was never the skinny kid, never. I was always a little bit chunky, a little overweight, and I
Healthy.
couldn't understand. So I had some friends. It's not like I was eating a lot or I felt like I was overeating, but I couldn't understand what was going on. Why was I like this, struggling, because I always did, and the next person, my friend, wasn't, you know? And it really made me think about it. I think
Mm,
about things. My grandmother was also a very important person in my life, and she died very young. She was 69. She died from
mm,
complications of diabetes, right?
mm.
And so how does food and what we're eating, you know, what part does it play
Mm.
in what happens? And that was a long time ago, right? I mean, when I went to college, I think I graduated high school in 1990. So, um, not a lot has changed, but yet a lot has changed. And so
Sure.
that really made me think, and I just wanted to know more. And it was like the only logical pathway for me. So that's the direction I went.
Mm.
Um, I was always interested in moving. I would walk, any kind of movement, and I started my own practice of Pilates after my son, who was 24, he was born. Um, but again, that also because I had my own health crisis
Mm.
or struggles,
Mhm.
and it made every difference in the world for me, really. And that's why I became so much more involved in Pilates, and it's my passion, really.
Yeah,
So,
I love
and I
that.
just
And
wanted to share it with everyone
you had to
what it's
share
done
it.
for me, what it can do for you.
That's what
So
we
it's
do as women. We do the
yes,
thing and then we
hmm
can't not share it. That's
right,
that's a beautiful thing, especially
yeah,
in midlife, because we do need to talk about menopause. We need to talk about ways to
hmm
support each other, to support our
yeah.
bodies. It can't keep it a secret. And our moms really didn't talk to us about it. So we need to talk to each other.
I know, and it's women. Our generation. We're not going to take this line down, and I feel they were done a real disservice um, of what they could have had.
Right. I
Yeah.
know. Postmenopausal women are angry. It's not doctors' faults because of all
Mm-mm.
the things, right? But women are still angry because potentially of what we missed out on. I mean, I was late
hmm
to the hormone therapy party, but I jumped in. I was like, okay,
hmm
I'm gonna squeeze this. Okay, let me
Yes.
just make sure I don't miss these great questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about blood sugar. We didn't talk about fiber and
Okay.
willpower. Okay, because
Okay.
what I love about this newer conversation coming up for midlife women, especially about, oh, I love that you love milk.
Okay. Can I just tell you, I have these all, anybody need a snack? Like I'm still a mom. My kids are, I have snacks. I have everything in my bag. We'll be someplace. My husband will say, oh God, oh, would you like a menopause bar?
Right. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay. I love
It's,
that.
yeah, protein and fiber. And when I first discovered these, I was at the Conversations in Women's Health conference in Orlando
Right.
with,
Right.
Dr. Mary Claire Haver, Dr. Vonda Wright, who I am I
All the
love them.
faves.
So they're amazing women. And I went to the CE, the Continuing Ed Day, and there were some of these things, bars thrown on the table. So I grabbed one, and of course I'm looking, and
I can always
hmm.
tell someone who's a nutritionist or a dietitian because the first thing they do is they just flip over the back and look at the ingredients. I'm like,
Yes. And I was
okay, here
like,
we go.
oh, these really have great stuff in them. I was really impressed. And so I just put it to the side and waited because I always would say, mind your PFCs, okay, which are protein, fat, and carbs.
Mm.
So a little bit of protein, whole food carbs, which means whole food, high fiber, and a little bit of healthy fat. And so when I saw that that's what this bar had, I was very impressed. So yeah.
Well, thank you. That means a lot, a lot, a lot to me. So, okay, but that wasn't
Well, that's
like
why
a
I
like
emailed you
a
guys. I
what's that?
emailed you. I emailed the company because I loved it so much.
I know.
Yes. So here we are.
I know. That was so great.
hmm
Those
Yeah.
emails I love. I love it when you guys
Yeah.
email me and message DM. It
hmm
makes my day. It really does. And
Yeah.
when I got yours, of course, it was extra special that you're a dietitian as well because that was hard to come by. And I'm always proud of our
Yeah.
nutrition panel. But
Well,
fiber, let's
well,
just talk
yes.
about it.
And so,
Why
you know
is
what,
it so
Julie?
important?
Yes, I want to talk about fiber, and I didn't answer the whole question though. To become a dietitian, yes, you have to have an graduate degree. And then I went to graduate school.
Right.
And then I did an internship it was 9, 10 months long where you go to, different, it's almost like a residency for
Yeah. It's really difficult.
doctors. But then I also did training at the International Functional Nutrition Academy, which is affiliated with the IFM, I think the Institute for Functional Medicine. So I did training in that as well. And so that's, the nutrition aspect of it.
Amazing.
But the fiber, I feel like fiber should be the fourth macronutrient. Okay. We
Right?
do not
I
get enough
track it on
fiber.
my app.
Yeah.
I've got all 4 quadrants on there. I
Okay.
want to know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We recommended amount is anywhere from 25 to 30 grams a day. I think the average adult gets maybe 10,
Mm.
maybe. Um, and so, what does fiber do for us? There are so many things. One, it helps to nourish the bacteria in our gut. And, the bugs, our gut garden, they thrive on these fiber containing foods. And the metabolites, or when they break it down, they produce short chain fatty acids. And that's a whole, just let's say it's beneficial. Okay. It nourishes our
We
gut.
like the science. It's okay. Yeah.
It nourishes the gut.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got the prebiotic. Fiber is the prebiotic. Okay.
Right.
Fiber also helps to um, satiate us, to keep us full. It helps to slow the absorption of blood sugar into our system, because what happens is and again, it's okay, eating foods that don't contain fiber, your blood sugar is going to spike up if it's carbs. And then that sets a whole cascade of things. Okay.
And hours to come back down again.
Right. And depending on if you have any medical or, issues. And so what happens is if you eat something doesn't have fiber, your blood sugar goes up. And so your body has to work hard to pump out insulin to get the sugar out of the blood, because we like regular. Our bodies like regular. And so, you get the blood sugar out, and then all of a sudden, there's a signal, your brain saying that blood sugar is going down.
Right.
I better start thinking about getting food. Okay. Because your brain takes a lot of energy, and it's like, well, if that blood sugar is going down, you need food,
Right.
even though you may have just eaten. Right.
Yes.
So to compare, if 2 meals, and they call it isocaloric, same amount of calories. One, let's just say, is a bowl of white rice. Okay. The other one, same amount of calories, 500 calories, mixed nutrients. It's going to have a very different, your body's going to react very differently. Right. Very, very differently. You eat the rice, the blood sugar goes up, you get it out of your system. And all of that extra carbohydrate, okay, it has to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so it's going to be stored either in your adipose tissue as fat, right? Goes to your liver. It helps with the triglycerides. So a lot of people don't understand why their triglycerides are high, but it can be due to excessive or more refined carbohydrates than your body needs. And so cutting out those simple carbs is one way to help with, triglycerides, blood sugar, weight, all that stuff. And so the fiber really helps, because you're getting whole foods and real food. And so we have, there's the insoluble fiber and the soluble fiber. And if you look at it like insoluble, that's forms a lattice work in your gut. Okay. And then the soluble is kind of globular, and they fill in that lattice work. And so that really helps to with your gut integrity, right? And it helps to nourish your gut, and it helps with, staying regular when you going to the bathroom, and so many things. Probably more than I'm saying, but
because it's amazing. Yeah. It's so complex, and we don't think about it, but it's a huge part, especially as women are going on GLP-1 journeys. So,
yes.
Really, really important. And by the way, Breathe and Release Pilates says, I love this chat and experience.
Oh, thank you. I love you, Breathe and Release Pilates.
I wondered if that was somebody in your crew. So I am such a fiber. And honestly, when I first built MenoWell, I was not as educated on fiber as I should have been. I just knew, Barb on our team, who's a clinical nutritionist, like, yeah, we need more fiber. Okay, let's put in more fiber. But
what? Nobody was. No, and that's the other thing. Listen, ladies and guys out there too, if you want to get this little bar, has 9 grams of fiber in it.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on what
That's well,
flavor.
depending on which one it is. I think the
The
what
chocolate has the
the
most. That's where
yeah,
I go.
okay.
It's got a third of your daily fiber
Yes.
requirement.
The
I'm really
chocolate
like,
had 9. This one is the chocolate. The peanut butter has 8.
yeah,
Okay, that's pretty decent when you think about it. If you're aiming for 25,
yeah.
so yes,
You're getting there,
absolutely.
especially for
Hmm.
150 or 160 calories. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, because also I want to talk about willpower. We're talking more and more in during menopause.
Hmm.
90% of women in the stages of menopause gain 9 or more pounds. That's what the
Hmm.
research shows. And we
Hmm.
feel bad about ourselves. Like, why can't I just have more willpower, be stronger? And finally, we're starting to learn it's not our fault. Like our bodies and what's happening with hormone fluctuations
Yeah.
are just wreaking havoc. And so willpower
Yeah.
is not the thing. What do you want to add to that, please?
You know, it no, it's not our fault. There's so much going on, but hormones have everything to do with
Yeah.
hunger, satiety, and also our gut microbiome, because those little bugs, depending
Yeah.
on which kind, in menopause, perimenopause, the ratio of the good and bad bacteria in our gut shifts or
Yeah.
can shift.
Right.
And depending on how much of one kind you have, they can really determine what kind of foods you crave.
Right.
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 And so, nourishing the gut, that helps. But as far as willpower, also the kinds of foods that you're eating. So if you are somebody that is going to eat more refined carbs, guess what's going to happen? Your blood sugar goes up and then it goes down and it starts that whole hunger craving cycle.
Mm.
Right. So
Mm.
if you have fiber containing snacks with protein, if you keep your blood sugar from going up too quickly, it's going to help keep you satisfied. And that's going to help with the cravings. It
Right.
really will.
That's
The
what
other
we
thing
hear
is,
all the time. Right.
right.
That helps with the
And
cravings. Hmm.
don't think about depriving yourself for the rest of your life
Okay.
for anything. There's no food, not 80, 90% of the time you want to be on point with your nutrition. Okay.
Right.
And I call it, there's a Japanese term called harahachi-bu, where you eat until you're satisfied. So it's about 80%.
Hmm. Not.
And then give
Not.
yourself a few, right?
Yeah.
So that the 20% of the time, or 15, you can go, you can eat the foods you want, you can have fun. But that's with everything, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. With your exercising, it's 80/20. Most of the time you want to be doing the right thing
Hmm. I
so
love
that you
that.
have
We
wiggle room.
deserve that
Yeah.
permission, especially in
Mm-hmm.
midlife.
We do.
Okay, I want to go back to Pilates because I'm starting to get excited about going to a Pilates class now.
Yes.
So
I,
if
uh-huh.
let's talk about like a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced Pilates goer.
Mm.
So if you're a beginner, where's a good place to start? What do? You just go sign up for a class? How do you start?
Well, there are a couple of different ways. So yeah, you can. You can go to one of those franchise places, but also if you're at home and you're a little intimidated, so my friend, my mentor, Leslie out there, she is the co-founder of onlinepilatesclasses.com. And that's where I did a training through her called Elevate, which was a master's classical mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Go online. You
Mm.
can there's so many resources, and her program, well, she has a thing, OPC, $40 for 40 days, and they're all the mat classes you want. Well, you
Awesome.
get, you can sign up, whatever, but do that. You could get a book, or you could take a private session. Hello. Anybody wants a private session, just message me, because I'm doing that.
Yeah.
I teach small classes twice a week, and I'm also doing privates and duets. And, I have a home studio, but I also teach at a studio. And I
Mm.
think it just depends on what you want. I would definitely recommend, if you're going to go take classes, at least take a couple private sessions so that you get an idea of, hey, what you want to focus on,
Yeah.
what connections you want to be making,
Yeah.
and then,
I love that. I think that's really
yeah.
good advice.
Hmm.
To invest in yourself and take one or two
Yes.
private sessions so
Hmm.
you can feel more confident and not hurt yourself and
Yeah.
It's like if you went skiing or when I learned,
Yeah.
like breastfeeding, my first kid, I thought I can
Oh,
just breastfeed, no problem. It was a disaster, not good, not
yeah.
a good experience
Hmm.
for anybody involved. Second kid, like, I'm going to get a master's degree in this. And I took classes, I did all the things. And it was wonderful. We think
Hmm.
sometimes it's just intuitive, but we can have such a better experience if we
Oh,
work
yeah.
with
No,
a professional first.
no. You know what else you can do? I remember, God, years and years ago, when I took Pure Barre, the bar class, and went on there. What
Mm-hmm.
can I expect my first class? So I was prepared. Okay, and this is what to expect. So it was a long
Yeah.
time ago, but
Oh.
yeah, they're definitely because those places can be intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And I know with Pilates, especially, people will look and say, "Oh, but I don't look like that," and I
And
don't,
it's a
and
small room. You can't
and
hide. It's not
you
like an
can't
aerobics
hide.
class or Zumba or whatever. You can hide in the
No.
back.
And you know what? It doesn't matter. We're not looking at you like that, just so you know. Um,
You're
just
getting all tangled up in the reformer and all that
just
stuff.
come over. Okay. We'll that's what our jobs are. Okay. We want to help. We
Okay.
want to help. Trust me, so,
It's not about
that's
us anyway. So get over
right.
yourself and go to a
Right.
class. Okay.
Yes. Just do
Get
it.
out,
Get out there.
get out there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And so, what have you been doing it for a while? And you really want to take your practice, you call it a practice like yoga, you call
Yes.
it,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
really to the next level. How do you help women really press themselves, push to, and what does that even mean in Pilates to really be advanced?
Pilates, you know what? It's a practice. It's not a perfect.
Mm,
One day, every day is going to be different.
mm,
And how do you do that? It's all about making the connections. So you don't, I saw something the other day. One of the Pilates elder said, um, you don't need to go harder. You need to go deeper, meaning deeper
mm,
into the connections. You could take a
mm,
basic class, and it could be the hardest class that you've done. It's all about what you are doing
mm,
internally and the
mm,
connections. So the arm and back connection, and you've got your glutes, your, you know, butt and back of your leg connection, and what are you doing? And that's where the mind body connection comes in. Yes, there are more advanced moves, and you move forward as you are advancing. So you can go more quickly through the exercises and have more of a flow, which takes a
mm,
lot more energy, you
mm,
know,
mm.
but it's about what you are doing internally to.
Always is, isn't it?
It really is.
Always
Yeah.
the inner game,
Hmm.
whether that's fitness, food, life,
Yeah. And
menopausing.
yeah. And that whole, I mean, and now there's conversations about what the hormone replacement or menopause hormone therapy. And, I just say, get out there, move your body, eat right. Pilates, there's the classical, there's contemporary. It, just do it, you
Mm.
know?
We don't have to try to be perfect or
Right.
overcomplicate it because,
Mm-mm.
there's a whole thing about getting ready to get ready. I was telling my husband the other day, if I watch enough videos about lifting weights or working out, I kind of feel like I already worked out. So
I
it's like,
know, right? Or get bikini or get bathing suit ready for the summer.
let's just get ready, be ready, stay ready,
Right.
right?
I
And
get it.
enjoy
Yes.
ourselves
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
being
So, yeah.
stronger. Sorry, breath and release, breathe and release. No MenoWell bars in the UK yet. So
Oh,
you just
don't
have to
worry.
come over here.
I'll get you some.
You might have a secret path to
Yes.
get your MenoWell bars. Let's see. What if you wanted to give tips, let's say to women that are really struggling from nutrition? How do we pull together sort of that nutrition Pilates thing and give tips to women, through your experience that you think could be really helpful?
Okay. So, okay. First thing I would say is muscle loss is the hidden threat to us.
Mm,
Why? Because if you lose muscle, right, you there's actually a technical clinical term called sarcopenia, which many of you may have heard of, and it's age-related muscle depletion. So that puts you at risk for falls, frailty, bone loss, and so really doing exercise to counteract that. So, and also getting enough protein. So muscle loss, right? Protein, exercise. Our protein needs go up as we get older. They do
Right.
not go down.
Not down.
So that's really important.
Even though our
okay?
appetite can go down, right?
Right.
Well, not mine, but
and that's it. As we get older, yes, some people's appetites do go down. So you have to be really aware of that. And then, the getting enough calcium from foods, not necessarily supplements, because if you take a calcium supplement, there's the possibility that the calcium could go places you don't want it to go, like into your arteries. So making sure you get vitamin D, calcium from food, and magnesium and vitamin K. So magnesium, vitamin K, vitamin D, that's a trio, and they all work together to help direct the calcium and make everything work. Okay?
Excellent.
So,
got it.
Yep.
Try
so
to
I
get
would
it from
say
food first, I heard you say.
Food first, protein. And even in Florida, there, people have vitamin D deficiency. That's one thing. So if you can get out there for 10 minutes a day, or definitely get your vitamin D levels checked.
Right.
I would say.
Right.
Yep.
Really
and
good.
Then what else? The Pilates mind body thing to help with stress reduction, anxiety. It helps with sleep, nervous system reset with the breath work for sure.
I love that you said stress, because that is such an underlying experience that especially midlife women have, doing all the things, right? Taking care of
yes.
kids going off, leaving the home, or partner or parents, or what all the things we're doing. And that stress wreaks havoc, but it's so chronic. We're so used to it that it's just normalized in our body. We don't even feel it, but boy, is it doing damage in there. So
that contributes to the whole picture, with the visceral fat deposition and all, and I think being consistent is important. Consistent, show up for yourself.
Yeah.
Consistency with moving your body, consistency with, whatever it is you're doing to reduce stress, consistency with what you're eating, again, there's that 80-20 rule, but show up for yourself, invest in yourself, which you just said. So yeah, I take private Pilates sessions from a teacher. You know why? Because I want to go deeper into my practice.
Yeah.
And I look at it like, you know what? This is investing in me.
That's the beautiful thing, as in midlife, I say invest in food, buy the best food that you can afford to buy. Whatever we bought, I hate to say it, it's like when your house full of kids, maybe you can't buy the organic this or that because you have too many people to feed and they eat too much, but
right.
As we have fewer people in our homes, and we just can invest in ourselves with the best food we can buy, and a private trainer to help us learn Pilates or advance our practice, or weight training. Pay for it now or pay the doctor. Oh,
yes.
There you go. That's a mic drop right there. Is it Willia? Is that right? For sure. So that's investing in ourselves. And,
the thing is too, eating healthy foods does not have to be expensive. I would rather have you eat non-organic for a real food than go buy an organic box of cookies. Or
cute, really? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or there are places now you can go to, the farmer's market. There are those grocery stores like Aldi, right? That that they don't offer as many options, but there are ways of getting healthier food, at less expensive versus.
We have to do a little research sometimes to find those things, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. And you're making me, I've got a lot of Pilates people around me, but I've had a lot of resistance. I I kind of dove into Ashtanga yoga for a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't work with a teacher
Mm-hmm.
initially, and then I hurt my shoulder, which probably was frozen shoulder at the time,
Oh
and I had
yes.
no
The what is
idea.
that? What did Dr. Vonda write? She says the musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause.
Right.
It's
Frozen shoulder.
real. Hello. It's
Frozen shoulder.
real.
I know
Yes.
Vonda would
My
kill me. I
shoulder, I
know.
had shoulder issues. Oh my God, for so long. But
I
yeah,
know.
the
Shh, don't tell Vonda I did that
oh,
because I didn't know her then. I wouldn't have done it had I known her then. Now she was like, Julie, what were you thinking? But anyway, but I wish I had invested in proper
mm-hmm,
training, and I probably would have a better experience. So
mm-hmm.
if you're thinking about Pilates, I would just say to everyone, invest in someone like Jennifer who can really help
Yay.
you
Yep.
um, do, just have a better ease into it, and that way you can stick with it for a long time because you're not doing something weird
Yes.
and hurting yourself on the
Yeah.
way.
And you know what? I love it. It has been
Yeah,
the best thing for me. I really, I love it
it
so
seems like
much.
and you
I didn't
don't
do
have
it.
to trade
Yeah, but guess
weightlifting
what?
for Pilates. We can do all the things, right?
Right. I never planned on being an instructor. That's what I did. You know what? I did the instructor training because I wanted more.
Yeah,
And then I was like, oh, well, here I am. What am I going to do? And that it just happened. So yeah.
that's how the best things are, right? It's
I
something
know.
that you stumble on, and it's a
Yeah.
passion, and then you want to teach it, share it forward. That's how like that's your heart right
Yep.
there.
I know. I
I
know.
love it.
So
Jennifer, if someone wants to learn more, follow you, all the
yes.
things in your world, how can they find you?
They can follow me on Instagram at Pilates RD. I do have a new website coming. I had one for my nutrition. This was that had shut down a long time ago, but yeah, and you can just message me. Um, and if
That's
you're
the
in my
easiest way.
area, you can
In
come and take
Florida.
Pilates. Yeah, in Florida, where I teach. But I do a few posts here and there. I'll be out there. I'll be out there more.
Be out there, come on out. And I
Hmm.
have to connect you with our Dr. Larissa, who's also in the greater Orlando area.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I
we'll
would
do
love
that
that. Yeah, I
offline.
don't live so far out of Orlando. I mean, it's a drive. If it's the traffic to Orlando from Tampa Bay area. That's where I am. Ooh, but yeah, the opportunity, like a lot of conferences and things come there just because it's such a
Because
destination
it's
for people.
Orlando.
It's
Yeah.
Orlando, but I'm fortunate because I got to go to meet Dr. Vonda and all those women at that conference and I've done other things there too. But it's been amazing. So yeah.
Yeah. The whole
Hmm.
menopause space and the women and the doctors, I mean,
Yeah.
it's been one of the most
Hmm.
favorite parts of my life.
Yeah.
And had no idea 5 years ago when I stepped into this menopause world, and how I would build friends with these women, because we're all just like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Want to do it together? Okay,
Yes. Oh
and
my
then
God. And then, and the other thing too, I do nutrition consultations through a telehealth company, and I'm getting so many of these women. And
mhm,
it's what is amazing is I've had women that are struggling, and when I'm coaching them through, and they're like, "Guess what? I lost this. I did that," and that is the best part. I love it. I
I love it.
love helping women
Mm,
navigate through this time, whether
mm,
it's doing little tweaks with what they're eating, how they're doing, hey, or do you need to take a supplement or we do blood work or this or that, you know, and then, the nutrition aspect. And then, hey, I'm part of the movement too. I'm doing the Pilates, I'm doing this, you name it, I've done it.
yeah,
Right. But
that's a joy of
Pilates
being
has
a
been my
midlife woman.
go-to.
We've done
Yeah,
it all. Well,
I know. I know.
I love
I
it.
know.
Jennifer, thank you. You were such a beautiful, the intersection of being a registered dietitian and a certified
Oh,
Pilates
thanks, Julie.
instructor and passionate about it. So
Yes.
beautiful, and
Thank
such
you
a
so much.
gorgeous contribution to the menopause world. So
Thank you. And
thank
thank
you.
you for all this
Oh,
too.
you're welcome. Got to
Love
keep you
it.
fueled up and got to keep your gut biome happy. That's my job.
Yes, your gut garden.
There you go. Your gut garden. I'm going to start saying that. Okay, you
Thank
heard it
you.
right here. I got it from Jennifer. Your gut garden.
The,
Everybody.
yes.
Your Meadow
So,
Gut Garden.
oh
There.
my gosh.
I'm trademarking that so nobody
All
else
right.
has it.
Okay. All right. Well, great.
Thank you.
I will see you out there.
To be continued. We need to do some Pilates things together on
Yes, for
MenoLounge thing.
sure.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Stay
Okay. Sounds
tuned.
good. Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
be well, everybody. See you next time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.